have had a pretty intense 6 months. I moved from Colorado to California and then to Western North Carolina, a place I had never actually been before I packed up my U-Haul to come out here. And I know that probably sounds kind of nuts to most people, but I am definitely not most people. What I had a hard time with earlier this year, though, was leaving Colorado, because my heart was very into living in Colorado. I loved being a mountain woman in the forest, surrounded by nature and trees, but I also knew somewhere deep down inside that that was no longer where I belonged. And it was something where I was fighting it. Being a Colorado mountain woman was my new identity, and I just felt so much pride in this new version of myself that I was experiencing. And having to leave it really felt like a defeat. Originally, when I found out that I had to leave my little cabin, my goal was to go to California, sell my condo, come back to Colorado and purchase something. But when I really started looking into that and I really started feeling into that decision, I decided to change my mind. First of all, the real estate out there is insanely expensive right now, and once something went on the market, it was bam, gone in a heartbeat. Secondly, the fires of 2020 really scared the shit out of me. All I kept thinking was, I'm going to make this investment, buy this home, and just cross my fingers that it doesn't burn down. And I really didn't want to have to continue worrying about that year after year. And another thing was, I was done with 7 months of winter. After 6.5 years of 7 months of winter, it was time for this sunshine, warmth-loving California girl to leave the Colorado Rocky Mountains. Not just because being cold all the time kind of sucks, but also because I really want to grow my own food. And you just can't do that in the Colorado Rockies unless you have an insanely expensive greenhouse. So I decided that although I absolutely loved this place and had this beautiful dream of living there for the rest of my life, it was time for me to move. And the month of May really helped me out with that decision because it was cold. And although I was starting to feel like I was ready, I still had a lot of grieving to do, so I let myself grieve. Endings are never easy, but they're also necessary if you want to create space for something new and more aligned to come into your life. So with this greater dream for my future in my mind, in my heart, I packed up all of my belongings and drove out to California with the help of my sweet friend Katie. My first month was mainly spent in my parents' cabin in Big Bear. It was really nice to have this place to decompress and to process the move that I'd just gone through. And I also wasn't ready to say goodbye to nature and to the mountains. So it was just so wonderful to be surrounded by beautiful birds and trees and clouds and an awesome view of the lake. Actually ended up selling that cabin at the end of the summer, so I'm grateful that I was able to spend a little bit more time there before they did so. I also spent quite a bit of time with my family down in Orange County, and I was able to catch up with some friends. I mentioned that my parents sold their cabin, but they also sold their other home. So I spent a lot of June helping them move out and into a storage unit. And right after we got them out of their place, my tenant moved out of my condo. So then we moved the party over there and started cleaning and repairing that for sale. I thought it was gonna take a couple weeks to get that thing ready. It took over a month. Things were rotten and broken and covered in an insane amount of boogers. I'm not joking, I've never seen so many boogers. And not to mention corroded. I felt like I was fixing one thing and then finding another thing that was broken. The kitchen faucet was so corroded into place that I couldn't get it undone, my dad couldn't get it undone, and he ended up having to saw the faucet off, which was very satisfying to watch. Floorboards had to be replaced in a toilet. It seemed like the repairs were never ending. Until one day, it finally just stopped. The house was up on the market on a Friday, and by Monday, we were already in escrow. And now, after 13 years of owning that home, it belongs to a really sweet little family who just bought their first place. After everything was closed out, it was time for me to head off on my new adventure. The closing of escrow was pushed off several times, so my plans for driving to North Carolina were pushed off as well. There was a lot of stress and I cried 1,000 tears, but in the end, after scrapping plans 1,000 times and having different people coming with me, my dad finally said, "Enough is enough. I'm driving you out there. And he drove me the entire way. Honestly, I think he was scared to let me get behind the wheel because we were towing almost 7,000 pounds. But it was really wonderful to have my dad, who is so experienced in towing trailers, to just take the wheel and go. What do you think, Daddy? In Boulder, we had to upgrade the U-Haul because I have more stuff than I realized, but we ended up getting a better truck that towed the car better, so it was worth it. It was a really long and not very easy trip, but in the end, we made it out alive. And it was really nice to be able to spend that time with my dad. Five days after leaving California, we arrived in North Carolina. And that was over a month ago. So I've had a lovely month here. I really love it, and I feel like I magically created this place in my head and it just appeared in real life. So I have plenty of stuff to share with you. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I really look forward to putting together another one for you. So I will see you soon.